Good morning and welcome to Lock Reference and WaynesLockShop.com.
Alrighty, so we got a floppy handle going on here. And then this exit device with this little pin thing in it. So we're going to be replacing this with this Falcon setup right here. I believe it's Falcon. Yeah.
Alrighty, so to go ahead and give you a little backstory, this door gets hit with a lot of skis and carts and ski boots and just luggage racks, all kinds of things that are not good for doors, and that is why that exit lever has become broken. The spring is broken. There's a lot of other things broken in there. This door gets beat up and hit a lot with a lot of not normal activity going through it. It's not just people. There's a lot of larger products that are being moved in and out of this location because it's a main entry point. So one of the first things that we do is we're going to try and solve the problem long term. One of my favorite ways to go ahead and solve these problems long term is to make sure that we eliminate as many sticking out and moving parts as possible. So if we can get rid of the lever, then we can get rid of the moving parts that are breaking constantly. So we're going to go ahead and install a cover plate, which is what I have right here. This is a general cover plate available at almost any hardware store. It's a matte black cover plate, and we're just going to go ahead and screw this to the door to cover up all the holes and damage done from the original installation. You can tell those holes were not precision drilled, no jig was used. It was a very, very rough, ugly installation underneath there. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover that up. We're going to put cover plates on both sides. I'm then going to go ahead and reinstall my jig, and then we can actually get a hole that works on this door in the proper location. What I'm doing is I'm using a flashlight to go ahead and show light through the instructions to make sure that we have the proper drill point and the proper installation hole drilled so that we can align the holes for the through bolt that are going to go through, the two through bolts that are going to go through this plate and this rim cylinder that's going to be mounted on the outside. Notice there's nothing sticking out, nothing to stick out, nothing to get caught on, ski boots, jackets, etc. So right now we're going to trim that tail piece down with the Dremel tool so that it fits, and then the bolts that are locking the exit device to the pull trim are actually going completely through the door. So this is the strongest bond possible. You want to make sure that those screws and those through bolts are set all the way and nothing is sticking out so that it can loosen up later. You'll now see that the device is hanging down just a little bit, and there is a little extra spot right here that didn't get painted, but because of the three-dimensional sides of that gap, they're actually going to go ahead and just touch up paint the door. That's why we didn't install a cover plate there. Here on the back side of the panic bar or exit device, again, I'm going to utilize through bolts wherever I can on a wooden door. Wood screws are a bad idea in almost any application, especially one that's getting beat up. So the more through bolts we can use, the better. Here is the strike being installed, and you can see that we have the proper gap. And again, we're going to have to move this exit device down so that we're not installing it on that three-dimensional trim. And here's what it should look like kind of from the top there. So those were drilled and tapped. I used Milwaukee drill and tap combos that work on that. And now
So the reason we didn't use this heavy-duty handle that came with it is they only sent one screw and one washer thing like that. So normally we could have mounted this somewhere on here or wherever it needed to be mounted. These screws, it does not line up with those screw holes there. You can see they're off. So it's not meant to be here. It's designed to be mounted somewhere else on the door, but they didn't send enough hardware with it, so we just had to put a temporary handle on for the time being.
I normally always like to make sure we utilize the parts sent, as it's all UL listed hardware. Unfortunately, we had to make do with what we had in this particular application. For more information, scan the QR card, fill out an application, join wayneslockshop.com, and check out Lock Reference.